This group of dedicated bell ringers meet at their local tower in the small village of Wybunbury on a regular basis. But this is no ordinary tower. With an 18-inch lean, this tower has a very special story. Experienced bell ringer Paul Cheshire tells us why he enjoys bell ringing in Wybunbury.
I like ringing it with tower in particular because they're quite a nice tone of bells. They're about 1500 weight. They were quite difficult to ring before they were rehung, but since they've been rehung, there's a good sense of community spirit, a fairly strong band in terms of numbers. They are very keen as well, so it's got a good community atmosphere to it, and they're a nice set of bells, a nice tone.
So, the tower is put into great use today, but if things had turned out differently, this Grade 2 listed building may no longer be here. In the beginning, the tower was not alone. Attached was a grand church, the heart of the village. Unfortunately, ongoing movement caused 6 churches that were once attached to the tower to be demolished. Someone who was around during the early days of the tower and can remember the old church is villager Delia Lockhart.
I used to go across to the old church and took my son with me, and my daughter was confirmed in there. It was a really lovely church, and it held about 300 people.
After losing the church, the remaining tower now faced threats to be demolished as well. But was this the end for Wybunbury Tower?
In 1977 they demolished the church, and the tower was so unsafe because of its lean that they thought they were going to demolish the tower as well. And the Bishop of Chester wanted the 6 bells taken out, and he was going to sell them. And people were so alarmed in the village that a committee of about 18 of us got together to form a group to save Wybunbury Tower, which over the years we have done.
With the Tower Trust Committee now formed, the group needed to raise the money to save their beloved tower. Professional tour guide and former committee member Marianne Hay understands the hard work that went into saving the tower.
This tower was a real landmark in South Cheshire, and therefore they would fight to save the tower. And so I understand that they got a Preservation Trust Committee together.
So we did this massive fundraising appeal, and we wrote to businesses, and you'd be amazed where the money rolled in from. Thousands of pounds, and people in the village all gave £5, £10, £100, and we had a lot of businesses give us money, and also we had a very large grant from Crewe and Nantwich Borough Council.
Finally, the committee's hard work had paid off. The Tower of Wybunbury was straightened in 1832 using engineer James Trubshaw's pioneering method named soil extraction. This involved removing soil from beneath the northern side of the tower, allowing gravity to eventually force the structure back upright. It was this successful method that gave the tower its very own claim to fame, as it was going to be used to save the world-famous Leaning Tower of Pisa, which faced the same structural problems.
At that time, the Pisa Tower was obviously of worldwide renown. It was very interesting to me when I came to Wybunbury to find that there was a very definite link between the 2 towers.
Professor Berlin discovered what we'd done in there, and he came to have a look at it because he was on the committee of the Tower of Pisa, and they weren't getting anywhere with that. For 8 and 10 years they wouldn't move it anymore because they were frightened the whole thing was going to fall down. And he brought his secretary with him, and she stayed for 2 or 3 days at Richard Elwood's and did a lot of investigative reports. And then Professor Berlin came again, and they decided to adopt the idea at Pisa. They moved the Tower of Pisa as much as they dare, I think, in case it fell, but it never did.
With both towers saved, the Leaning Tower of Pisa is still one of Italy's most famous attractions. Some say that if it wasn't for the tower in the little village of Wybunbury, it could now be the fallen Tower of Pisa.
This is as it was.
And they managed to save it.
They managed to save it.
There's no doubt that the villagers made a tremendous effort in the 1970s and 1980s to ensure that Wybunbury Tower, the Leaning Tower of South Cheshire, would survive for future generations. And we very much hope that our efforts will pay off and that in the weeks and months and years to come, we'll have many people wishing to visit Wybunbury and find out about its fascinating story.
It's always been a great joy to watch people's faces when they come down the tower after they've been up, whether they're relieved or they smile and they've really enjoyed it, the view, and then that always makes it worthwhile what we did. There are some of the committee still around. Fortunately, quite a lot have died and some have moved away. But there was a lot of hard work and hours of typing letters and begging letters went into this project, which a lot of people do not realise and have never appreciated. But those who were involved have always felt very proud of what we did to make Wymbury Tower back to its former glory.
Years later, the villagers of Wymbury's efforts do not go unrecognised. The tower is now a Grade 2 listed building by English Heritage and is used regularly by the bell ringers of Wymbury. They ring their bells to remind the villagers of the fascinating story their village tower holds.